Hey, what's up, Connor? How you doing, man? Your mum sent me this video. Are you pitching? So I'm just going to break it down. I'm not going to nitpick a ton of stuff and just start dissecting everything, because I don't want you to walk away from that going, oh man, I suck, or I have to do this, have to do that. You do a lot of things really well, but just from watching this video, slowing it down. I'm going to draw on the screen here in a second, but just watching this video, rhythm's really good. You get to this apex part of lift of that ready to drive, and you've got a little bit of slight going forward before you get everything going, which is great. That's just a momentum starter, which is great. A lot of people say, hey, stay back, tall at the top. That's all rubbish. You want to be able to get, when you get to this point, I'm going 100% as fast as I can. With this, it looks like, when you first look at it at full speed, it looks like there's not a ton of leg drive, but in actual fact, you could get a little deep on that backside, sure, but there is a lot. The rhythm's good, but you are getting quite a bit out of that backside, which is good. The other thing is to see this toe. See how that's in that position right there. It's pointing that way. If you ever watch someone like Kenley Jansen, closer with the Dodgers, he has a ton of preset front hip rotation, meaning he keeps this hip right here, call it closed if you want, and that toe pointing this direction, literally until boom, before foot strike. Let me clean this off. So that's pretty good. You actually do a lot better than kids your age, honestly, because a lot of kids your age have that toe going this way way too early, so that front hip's gone even before it hits the deck. So one thing I look for, a couple of things I look for, but one thing I look for right away is what position we at when the energy, you can see it up here, goes up the chain. Okay, so what position am I in? Boom, when that ground force gets in the front, in that front foot. So first of all, a couple things. Check out where your hips are. This knee right here, you should be, now landing bent, landing straight, doesn't matter. But if you ever watch someone, you go YouTube, Justin Verlander, there's a lot of hyperextension in that front knee. Okay, so when you hit, boom, all that shockwave, you can see it going up. See how your hips are caught back here a little bit? Right? In this position? I'll tell you why that is in a second. It's not because, you're not getting extension, any of that. I'll tell you why in one sec. But with this, these hips should be over this front foot a little bit more. Don't have to be all the way over it, whatever. It's just, everyone's timing's different. But right now they're just a little bit stuck back in here. And what happens is, this head, I'll get to that in a second, everything's rotating off, and there's no tracking of your weight this way after you let go of the ball, right? So look at this. And again, I don't want to get in your head here, but this is just simple stuff. Try and get some extension with your chest and your head going that way as much as you can. Just try and force yourself, not your arm, with your chest and your head where you're going towards the catcher. Because look at this. Those hips get back. These hips are back here. And everything's stuck. Boom. Back in this position. And then straight away, you get some good extension there. But look at this. Just rolling right off. Look where that head ends up compared to release point. That's not bad right there. Back flexion's pretty good. But that head's going this way. Like head's rolling off towards first base. You want these, at this point here when at release, there shouldn't be any where it looks like someone's pulling you back with a rope to second base. Everything should be firing forward. Boom, boom, boom. Weight, all that body weight, everything else. Now, a couple things. Check this out. One of the reasons your hips are stuck back in here is because you got really, like I said, you got really good rotation with this backside, this part here. See how that heel? That heel gets right up in the sky, which is great, really good position. Okay, and these hips, you got really good hip fire. Don't lose that good rotation, but just a little too early. Okay, meaning we want all the action to happen as close to, if not at foot strike as possible. All right, so drive, hip turn right at foot strike, and then I'm going to get to the hip and shoulder separation in a second, and then we throw the ball. So right now you've got really, and this is, look dude, this is common. It's very hard to generate power on one leg, which you're kind of trying to do right now. So if we can, again, just try and get more drive, more into that ground force, more into that stomp in that front foot, and then turn that hip over. Back here. Delay this a little bit. Okay, if that makes sense. Feel that front foot stomp, hip goes. Just like when mum slams on the brakes because she's checking her Facebook in the driver's seat and you're sitting there and then slams the brakes on, you nearly go through the front windshield. It's called inertia. That's what we're trying to create with this front foot. No offense, mum. All right, so Connie, you even know what Facebook is. The other part of this is too, all right, I'm going to box up your shoulders, right here. Now check this out. Hip and shoulder separation. I'll explain that real quick. You probably heard that term before. What is this shoulder doing with this hip? We want this hip firing forward, good, and these shoulders separating that way as much as we can. That's how you generate, it's called a kinematic sequence of events, and that's how you generate that whip, just like if you were ever cracking a whip out on the farm. I don't know if you ever have or not. Just going to clear this off. But the head of that whip is way back there, and you throw that hand, and the hand stops, just like that front foot. Inertia, wham, and then the front of that hip, that whip goes. Okay, right now, watch this. Watch this back hip turning, and this shoulder going at the same time. It's not bad. It's actually you're actually delaying pretty good, but they're going at the same time. Boom, and also too, that head. Look where that head's going this way. This front side's pretty weak, going this way. Our foot. Already starting to turn on that front foot. Already starting to turn and go before that front foot hits. Try and delay everything from the waist up. All this. Delay that as much as you possibly can. Okay? Create separation. Meaning, these hips go, shoulders stay back here at foot strike. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Okay? So, and the reason why your hips are getting stuck back here as opposed to here is really because all this action's happening a little bit too early before foot strike. Okay, so the way we try and fix this, when you're throwing a bullpen, again, it's tough when you're going downhill too, because the hard thing is we do all our throwing on a flat ground, and then we expect to throw a bullpen session and then pitching a game down a slope 6 times your body weight, and it's just a different surface, so your foot can't get on the deck. So with that, what I would suggest, drive off this back leg, just like your natural athletic self can do. Drive, drive, drive. Now feel this foot. Don't let that foot drag. Don't let that foot linger off the ground. Feel that foot hit the deck. Right? Get as much stride as you can from this backside. We get stride length from the backside. We don't reach out with our front foot. Feel that foot hit, and then let that hip go. Right? We do a med ball thing on stealth. We do a med ball program where we go foot stomp and then hip, foot stomp and then hip. Because what we're trying to do is generate as much delay with that hip. And then the other part of this with that upper body, I know this is a lot, but I'm just going through it. Why not? The other part with this upper body, let's try and just, we can do this on the fly. Delay this shoulder rotation well after foot strike. Let that foot hit, then the shoulders come through, and then we're just going to track all that body weight, all those kegs you got, those kilos going this way. Okay, so let's try and get those hips a little bit closer to that front foot. Hope that makes sense. Shoot me an email with any questions, and I can explain it to you on another video. All right.